Hello there. Happy Training Tuesday. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Kim Irwin. I'm an independent consultant with Arbonne International. And I had mentioned in one of my other videos that I've done that today I wanted to talk about what can happen when you remove all alcohol from your diet for 30 days. So obviously there are long-term benefits and results and things like that. But what this one gentleman that I want to talk a little bit about his findings, his name's Thomas DeLauer, and he's very big on YouTube. He's a big entrepreneur, a nutritionist, and what he specializes is in inflammation in the body, which is everything that we're talking about, right? We're talking about with Arbonne's 30 Days to Healthy Living, the reset, I'm on day 2, is the goal is to remove toxins and inflammation from our body. Well, one of the things that you eliminate for that 30 days is alcohol. And, I'm going to go into some of the specifics of what he says happens in 30 days or what you can expect to happen in 30 days. But the kind of overarching piece of information that I got from it is that your liver is really taxed with removing toxins and dealing with fat and all the filter of your body, right? And so what he says is that when you are drinking alcohol, and if you drink a lot of alcohol, the liver has to prioritize. It works on that alcohol and other things don't get the attention that they need. So what can that lead to? That can lead to visceral fat, which I've talked about before. And the visceral fat is that deep fat that's around your organs and deep in the belly area. So he says that, and he references lots of studies and stuff. So you can find him on YouTube, again, Thomas DeLauer, and you can go and listen to his whole, it's like 14 minutes or so on this. But he says that you can notice in 30 days a lowered visceral fat. Now, my response was, well, how can you feel that like deep inside? But basically what he's saying is that alcohol is a toxin. Okay, what are we removing? We're removing inflammation and toxins from the system. Well, since the liver is working on that, your triglycerides go up when you have the alcohol, okay? So he's saying you're going to reduce that inflammation. So with that process, he says you will feel less joint and back pain. You will be mentally clearer. You'll have less fatigue. You'll have more energy. So those are all the benefits that I tout for our 30 days because of the vegan program that we have for this reset. So, if you are doing this or you're doing some sort of reset for your body where you're eliminating alcohol and doing something with nutrition, it's going to be maybe hard to distinguish which is causing this effect. But when you're doing a full-on reset, you're going to put all of these things into play. So he's basically saying you want to reduce the inflammation in the gut. Well, where have you heard that from? I say that all the time. We need to have a really healthy microbiome and gut environment. He says that based on studies that they've done, within 3 to 6 days of reducing the alcohol from your diet, you will be less bloated. You will not be uncomfortable anymore, and it will help improving your microbiome. He does also talk about supplementing that with prebiotics and probiotics, of which we got our gut health that I am a huge proponent of. He also says that with drinking alcohol, connectivity decreases. Now, what that means is that your gut cannot adapt as well to different foods and different things that are being introduced into the gut. So when you are reducing or eliminating that alcohol for the 30 days, they see reduction in IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, leaky gut, all those things that are adverse in your gut, in that system. He also says that you will eat less. it was interesting because he references a study where they had three different groups of people. One of the groups of people had what they thought was a beer, and it was a placebo. The other group had a light beer, and then the third group had a heavy beer. Okay, and so what they found is that the group that had the heavy beer ate huge amounts more than the other two groups, and then they chose fatty foods, fried foods, bad things that are just not really good for you. So what they're saying is when you have alcohol in your system, you want to eat more. So he's saying, okay, you eliminate the alcohol, you're going to want to eat less. That's part of what we're looking at doing also. And again, you have to figure out what your starting point is as to where you're going with that goal. Some of the other benefits, he says, increased libido. Brain function will increase. And the way you see that is, he says that's usually 14 to 21 days into it. You really notice that you're making better decisions. You have clearer thought. Your verbiage is better, that you're able to articulate better. You're less anxious. And he says, that's kind of a cycle. A lot of people drink because they're anxious. So if you are eliminating that alcohol from the equation, you can theorize that your anxiety is going to go down as well. Weight loss, he says weight loss, and less of an insulin response. We've talked about this a lot as well, because every time you put something in your body, you ingest something, you're going to have some sort of an insulin response. Well, if you're less hungry and you're not eating, you're giving that 4 to 5 hour window of hunger. If it is hunger, maybe you're not even hungry because of all of these changes and your body is adapting and really liking this. But that means that you're not going to have such an insulin response. And that's where you get the insulin resistance, when you have insulin spiking constantly throughout the day for those people that snack all throughout the day. So he also mentions just a couple of different tips. He says, exchange something else, put something in place of the alcohol. He even says, have a little bit of sugar if you need to. He'd rather have you having a little sugar than having the alcohol. But he also says that when you're hungry and you crave something sugary, to have something salty. So, we've got all kinds of information out there, but one of the other key things that he says that we definitely can incorporate into our routines is to exercise 3 to 4 times a week in the morning, because he says that has that effect on the liver and just your system in general. So, hopefully this is some information for you, gives you some reason to say, okay, so I'm not going to have alcohol for a month. Let's see, let's put this to the test. And so if you have any questions, again, the guy's name is Thomas DeLauer, and he has lots of really good information. They're not really, really long. You can go in and kind of learn a lot about some of these things from an inflammation and nutrition standpoint. So hopefully that's some information that can help you get you through this, be encouraged, and let's just keep going. All right. I hope you have a great week. I will talk to you next week.